What is a short-term rental, right?
Hey guys, welcome to our channel, the STR Way. I'm Chris,
I'm Marjorie.
and we're the Stromans.
Thank you for tuning in to another video. If you're new to our channel, go ahead and subscribe. We love commitment over here. Today's video is about starting your short-term rental business the right way, the STR way.
On this video, we're just going to tell you a couple of steps that we took that led to our successful 5-star short-term rental business. So let's go. So before we get into telling you the steps to take to start your short-term rental business, let's first define what a short-term rental is.
Yeah, a short-term rental is a furnished house or an apartment that you rent for short-term periods of time, like for days or weeks and months on end. It's like an alternative to going to a hotel. They're broken down in 3 categories, which is an entire home, accessory dwelling, and individual room. Here are some of the advantages and disadvantages of starting and owning a short-term rental business. So the first step I would say to starting your short-term rental business is to figure out your why. What is the reason why you want to start your business? Do you have a passion for hospitality? Or do you want to make extra money? Or do you want to be your own boss and quit your current job? How frequently do you want to host? Do you want to be a hands-on or hands-off host? How much money do you want to make? All of those things are very important. What's your target audience? Who do you want to serve in this industry, in this business? So whatever your reason is, make sure it aligns with your business. So you can do the proper planning, that you can set the right goals, targets, and expectations when you're going into this short-term rental industry.
For the next step, we're going to cover the legalities and taxes. Now, you want to make sure you do your research on all of the state and local regulations and taxes and laws that regard vacation homes. Make sure you have a solid understanding of the legislation and tax obligations that can be relative to the property that you own. In our state, we're required to have a short-term rental license or permit, as well as pay annual fees.
Yep.
Make sure you do your research in short-term rental insurance, as well as tax obligations that may impact your business. Having the right insurance coverage is going to alleviate some of the many concerns you may have along with the business. And while doing your research, make sure you evaluate the market. No matter how fantastic your house is, a slower short-term rental market is going to have lesser bookings.
And lesser bookings mean lesser profits, and we don't want that.
A really good way to find some of this information is talk to somebody who's already in the field.
Yep.
Find a short-term rental host or co-host that has knowledge on your area in your market, and they'll be able to give you great directions on which way to go.
Yep. So the next step is to form your business entity. There are so many business entities out there, but for the purpose of this video, we are specifically talking about starting your limited liability company, also known as your LLC. A limited liability company is a business structure that offers limited liability protection and pass-through taxation. As with corporations, the LLC legally exists as a separate entity from its owner. Therefore, owners cannot typically be held personally responsible for the business debts and liabilities.
Here are a few points when creating your LLC. Select a state. Name your LLC. Choose a registered agent. File the articles of organization. Create an operating agreement. Get an employer identification number, your EIN, which is considered your business social security number. A data universal number system, or DUNS, number is a specific 9-digit company identification number provided by Dun & Bradstreet. That number can help you build your business credit.
So the next step is to find or locate a property. There are so many ways that you can find a property or just to get in the short-term rental industry, even if you don't own any property. One of the ways is rental arbitrage. Rental arbitrage is very popular right now. This is when you rent a property for a long period of time or long term, and you can either sublease it or sublet it to somebody else for a short period of time. Another way you can do this is to buy an investment property. You can do it the traditional way or non-traditional way. There's so many ways that you can do it. The traditional way is going through a realtor and putting a certain percent down, or buying a house for cash if you have that type of money. Or you can go the non-traditional way where you find a property off market, make a deal with the seller, and close on that property. Other ways that you can get in the short-term rental industry is by using your own home. You can use your own home and just rent out an individual room, a private room, or you can use your basement or an attic, start renting it out as well. So another way that you can get into the short-term rental industry without owning any property is to be a property manager. Short-term rental property managers make from 20 to 40% of the profits. So there's so many people out there that own short-term rentals that don't want to do the work. So they hire out property managers to do the work for them. That's something that you can get into. Or you can also become a short-term rental co-host. And that is when you work side by side with a host, and you just work together to do all the duties that a property manager would do. The next step would be furnishing your property. Oh my gosh, this is my favorite part of the process, right, Chris? I love designing. I love all things furniture, decor. As soon as somebody walks into your property, it should tell a story. But that story begins way at the beginning when I said, who do you want to serve? And so that is going to help you furnish your property as well. So you will put your own spin on it, your own design on it, but you will furnish the property for your target audience. So if you want to host couples, make sure you have things in there that is romantic, like bathrobes and luxurious sheets and plush towels and all things romantic. Or if you want to host business travelers, make sure you have a desk or an office where they can work from home. So that's what I mean by having your target audience in mind as you're furnishing your property. So when it comes to furnishing, you want to embellish your property with quality items. Quality over everything. No matter who your target audience is, you want quality items. And you can have quality items without breaking the bank. So you'll have many stores that you can go to. My favorites are Ross, Marshalls, Target, Home Goods, Hobby Lobby. I love to shop online. You know, Amazon is a go-to for a lot of people, but I also like to shop on Macy's, Wayfair, Joss and Main. They have a lot of quality items that you can buy. So you want to start off with a theme. You want to start off with a color. It can start with a painting, a decor piece that you're in love with. It can start off with something in the house that you can't change, like the kitchen countertops. Whatever it is, start there and just grow your design from there. So for example, my favorite color is teal. So I decided to put an accent wall of a teal color in the house to make it pop. All in all, you want your guests to have comfortable living, ample amenities. You want to add plants because greenery goes a long way. And you just want to make sure that all of the items in your house, not just for the guests, but it works for you as well.
Now, some things that you do want to avoid. You don't want to have a cluttered space, but you also don't want to have things that don't tie in to the location and surrounding area.
Yeah, you don't want to have like a beach theme in a cabin that's out in the cold area. That just does not make sense.
You also don't want to have too many personal items in the house.
Speaking of personal items, you don't want to have expensive antiques or heirlooms or, things that are irreplaceable around the house, because that's just putting those things at risk.
Yeah, some things you don't want a guest to break and you can never get it replaced.
Yeah.
One of the last things is you don't want to have any religious or political ideas inside your space because that may offend a guest.
Everybody comes from different backgrounds. They have different beliefs. So you want to just keep that to a minimum.
Setting up your property. Remember that guests want to do new and exciting things, and they want to come to your area to explore the local attractions as well as the scenery. You may want to go the extra mile to make sure your guests have the best experience possible. Some of the things that you want to consider: Wi-Fi in the workplace. If you're a pet-friendly short-term rental, you should also consider having pet-friendly spaces. Having a guidebook.
So many guests love that.
Having free parking. providing a washer and dryer, and even having a pool, hot tub, spa, fire pit, or any backdoor entertainment. Having a good security system, because safety and security is a primary concern. Those small touches, such as a bottle of wine, some baked goods, and even a welcome note.
So some of the top automation tools to consider are keyless entry lock, a smart thermostat, a smart noise awareness system.
Area dimmer switches, and water leak sensors.
Those are some great automation tools to have in your short-term rental.
So the next step is building your team.
High five. That's my teammate. That's my teammate.
Some people decide to do it all by themselves, or some people like to be as hands off as possible. If you want to build your team, you definitely want to consider having an efficient and detailed cleaner, a host or co host for bookings. You also want to look into getting a professional photographer.
Yes.
One key member is an on call maintenance person or business.
This is my handyman.
You might want to consider getting a CPA, a bookkeeper, or another tax professional.
Or all three.
And lastly, a marketing professional for any direct bookings that you may plan.
So if you decide to do direct bookings, which is not hosting on the platform, just doing your own thing, make sure you have that marketing person in place and branding person in place to help push out your listing and get people to your direct site.
So the next step is going to be picking your short-term rental platform. In recent years, short-term rental platforms have become more and more popular. Although Airbnb is one of the most popular ones, there are alternative listing sites that you may want to look into, which can attract more people.
It all depends on where you're located. VRBO might work in your city more than Airbnb or One Fine Stay. It really just depends on your location and honestly, what platform best suits you.
Also, you can even list on multiple platforms at one time. On most platforms, you'll just need to provide essential information such as the property type, the location, the amount of beds, bathrooms in the location, as well as pictures of the interior and exterior.
So you'll also have to check off the amenities that you're going to be providing to your guests. They're also going to ask for information on how many people are allowed in your house, check-in, check-out times, your weekday and weekend prices. You'll also have to provide your house rules, requirements, accessibility, and more.
Here's a list of some of the short-term rental platforms that you may want to consider. Airbnb, VRBO, Booking.com, Flipkey, 9flats.com, OneFineStay.com, Expedia, Furnish Finder, Peerspace.com, or you can even have your own website for direct bookings.
That's right. All right, guys, you have started your short-term rental business. Let's go from the beginning. So they started with their why. They listed their goals, their targets, and expectations. Okay, they did the research on legalities and taxes.
Okay.
And what else? So they started their business LLC, found the property or started, in the short-term rental industry.
Furnished the property.
They set up the property for their guests, and they picked a short-term rental platform.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are now listed on our short-term rental platform. Next step is to just optimize your listing. Now that all those steps are completed, it is time to make your listing work for you. Make sure you have those beautiful pictures that your professional photographer took and place them on the platform. You want pictures where people are stopping at your listing and like, oh my goodness, I have to stop and look at this listing. You want to include all the amenities that you're going to be providing and make sure they see every single inch of detail that you put into your place.
Because you want to make sure your hard work shines through.
Yes.
Now, pricing is key. You want to make sure that you're not overpricing or undervaluing your property. You also want to make sure that your rental is comparable to other short-term rental properties that are in your area.
Yeah, that's right.
You want to start by analyzing the market and making changes to your pricing throughout the year. You want to make sure that you're accounting for the seasons. You want to also make sure that you're accounting for any major events that come in town.
Yeah. Pricing is very, very tricky. So that's something that you're going to have to figure out along the way as you're moving along month to month, because it can change at any time.
Oh, absolutely. And another major thing, it's going to be communication.
Yeah, communication is key. You want the booking process to be seamless. So you want to respond quickly to all inquiries and bookings promptly because that is important. That is going to make or break your business.
Yeah, communication's one of the lifelines of your business. If you can communicate to your guests and make sure they feel comfortable, make sure any needs are met, make sure any issues that arise are addressed as prompt as possible.
Yeah, you want to make them know that you are available at any time that they need you. You responding on time and promptly shows how professional you are and how responsive they know you'll be if they stay at your place. So that will increase the likelihood of them booking your place.
Absolutely. People continuously booking your place, that is a major plus. You always want people to tell other friends, to tell other family that there is a location in your town that you want to go to.
Yeah. And you want them to be returning guests as well. Not just one time, but to come over and over and over again.
Another valuable lifeline is going to be hospitality cleaning. Cleanliness and safety is a top priority for guests. This is the most integral part of the guest experience and it cannot be overlooked.
Absolutely not, cannot. You must make sure you keep a clean and neat house at all times for every guest. That is what's going to push those guest reviews. That is what's going to push returning guests to come back. Make sure they're living comfortable and in a clean environment. It's very, very important.
Yeah, you want to maintain that expectation.
Another important thing is to make sure you have system in place to troubleshoot any issues that may arrive because issues will arrive during your business.
Absolutely.
So you want to make sure you pick the right platform, that you have the right plan in place to make sure when these things arise that you can handle them properly. Some issues that may occur that you need a plan in place for are cancellations, if a guest is having issues, if a guest breaks anything, maintenance issues, fraud and scam inquiries, and many more other things.
Lastly, we want to encourage long-term stays.
That's right. You got to remember, even though this is a short-term rental business, you want this to be a business that has longevity. So long-term stays are very great to have. Yes, it's great to have people to come day after day, but that can get very tiring and monotonous, not just on you, but on your team. So you want to encourage week-long stays or monthly stays. What I will say about the monthly stays is just make sure you look at the laws that are in place and make sure you have a contract or you pick the right platform that's going to protect you when it comes to having long-term guests. So, Chris, we have gone over all of the steps, right? From start to finish.
I believe so.
All right. So we hope you take this information and you go out there, take the necessary steps that work for you, and start your short-term rental business. It might not be in the same order. It might have extra steps or shorter steps. Whatever the steps are, make sure you just put it into action. You put it into play and you go out and do it. All right, guys, those are the steps that we took to start our short-term rental business. I'm hoping these steps can help you start your short-term rental business as well.
Absolutely. And if you really liked our video, please like and share.
And if you have any questions for us, please ask them in the comments and we will try our best to answer them to the best of our ability.
And if you want to see our next video, as well as our previous videos, please hit that subscribe button, as well as that notification bell.
Thank you for tuning in to another video. See you at the next one. Bye.